Hello, friends. I'm Seth Whiting, and I am a developer from Portland, Maine. I've been coding for about 10 years now.
And I am Jacob Pacheco. I am a barber from Augusta, Maine, and I've been coding for about 14 weeks now. So I'm on
Nice.
my about on my third trimester, second trimester, I think. Just really generally speaking, kind of
Yeah.
trying my best. You know?
Yeah. Just, you know, once you get to that third trimester,
It gets real.
once you get to like full term,
Yeah.
then that's when you become
hmm
a legit, you've birthed a developer at that point
That's the goal.
within yourself.
That's the goal. To birth the developer that lives inside. Oh,
It
from the
never
fleshy
comes out.
depths comes the developer. Yeah, that's the goal. We're we're
We're
sorry.
off to an awkward start.
Yeah, we're sorry, everyone. I don't know. Hey, we're just trying to have fun.
Yeah.
Have fun while we're,
Developers just want to have fun.
yeah,
It's
that's what they say.
the
I've heard
saying,
that. I think someone said that
as the
once.
saying goes.
Yeah.
So
Um,
here is this episode is where things get pretty interesting. We are going to try something that we've never done in the history of the show. All 13 weeks, never been done. Week 14 is the one. So we are going to try some live coding, and Jake's going to share his screen, and we're just going to try to jam through some code here, and we're going to try to make it as audibly interesting and followable as possible, but no no promises. And if you want to see this, we'll put it up on, I guess YouTube probably is the right
yeah,
place to
yeah,
do that. So
yeah,
we'll
yeah,
throw it up
yeah.
on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know if Spotify also might have a video thing now. I know
Oh,
that they
really?
do it for a few different podcasts. You can upload videos onto it,
Oh, weird.
so you can watch videos on Spotify now too. So maybe we'll have it up there too, depending on if we find that is a possibility. Then we'll throw that up there too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Should be on YouTube though,
yeah,
regardless.
definitely. Yeah, but no, it'll be and if anything.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Uh,
try it out. We're
all
gonna
right.
what we're going to try to do is get started on Jake's project that we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
He's been going through the Code Academy stuff, so we've got some like stuff that he has been learning that we can apply to this, and then maybe some stuff that he hasn't learned yet. So we'll see how it goes.
Yep. And just so everyone knows, at the beginning of this, I have already set up my actual application, my actual React application in Visual Studio Code. So you can listen to some of the stuff we've talked about already.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure we guide through that relatively extensively just in talking about how to set that stuff up. But it really is pretty straightforward.
And you're using Vite, right?
Yep, I'm using Vite. Yep. Yeah, oh yeah,
But
yeah.
If
So
you want to use Vite as well, that should get you started with like a good like base setup. So
yeah. Yep.
yeah.
And that basically gives us our basic structure of what our application is.
Mhm.
From my understanding, that's what it is. So yeah, let's share a screen. Ta-da.
Sweet.
Here we are, everyone. So yeah, you'll see if I can get that to move out the way. But yeah, you'll see right here, I have my Visual Studio Code set up.
Mhm.
With my app.jsx file. It comes all set up like this, except it doesn't say click on the silly geese. I just thought it'd be funny. But then you have your CSS file, so all your styling. You have your JSON file, which I am still touch and go with what all that means. And then package JSON too.
Mhm.
I think that this is all of the packages that are used in the app, right? So like
No,
node modules and a bunch of other stuff, or
it is, but package JSON is what you're actually going to like use. Package
okay.
lock
Yeah,
is
yeah.
is something that you just don't ever need to worry about.
Okay. So can I
It's
just exit this out?
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. The package lock is basically like something that gets sort of like I don't know if it's like compiled or what, but it's like it keeps track of all of your packages and your packages and your
Hmm.
packages,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all
That's
you're
what.
worried about is the packages that you're actually working on, which
Yeah.
is in the package.json.
Yeah. That's what I was kind of trying to say in my very layman's terms was that it's like that's just like the file that keeps track of all of the things that you're using in this that you don't change is kind of a thing, right?
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that I'm right about it, like keeping track of like the packages.
Hmm.
But regardless, like I don't even need to know exactly what that thing does. Basically, it just makes it so that if you are working on a team, then whoever has that package lock is going to be locked in to like the exact same versions of the exact same packages that you're going to be using
Alrighty.
at all times. So
All right.
yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I guess we can start by kind of if you could just, I mean, give a brief explanation on App.js. I'll give my understanding first, and then you can kind of like go from there and like see if I'm completely wrong with it. But
Oh, hold up
so
real quick though.
yeah, what's up?
One thing that you're going to be doing a lot
Hmm.
is flipping between this and your browser.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah. So
do
let's
you
set
have
that
it
up.
up on your browser?
I don't have it up in my browser. I had it up
Okay.
in my browser, but for some reason, site cannot be reached. So
Okay.
who knows?
Can you go to your package.json?
Yep.
And I think that yeah, okay. So you're going to so in order to get your terminal up,
Yeah.
have you done that like via VS Code before?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So I'm so like, I work on I don't know. You are on a PC. Okay,
Hmm.
cool. I was going to tell you the Mac way to do it. So, but I forgot the Mac way to do it.
Yeah. Well,
But
we don't need to know that
yeah,
anyways because PC Master Race.
there you go. So I'm on a Mac right now, but I
Yeah.
work on a PC. So
Yeah.
the way to get the terminal up, and so basically it'll open a PowerShell
Yeah.
terminal right within VS Code
Oh,
if you're on
cool.
a uh, PC.
Yeah.
So you would do Shift Control and then the little backtick symbol slash.
Okay.
There's like tilde. It's a little squiggly line, so it's tilde and or backtick that key there under the escape button.
The escape button. Oh, that guy. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
there you
Bing
go.
bongs.
Bing bong.
Bing bongs. All right. Now what you want me to type?
So in here you would type npm run dev,
NPM. All one word or?
3 words.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like that?
Yep.
Doo-doo-doo.
There you
Hey,
go.
here we go. Follow link.
Great.
Boings.
And so
What?
you can see click on the silly geese at the bottom.
Silly
That's something that
geese.
you already changed.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, proud. Not sure.
Proud silly goose.
Yeah, I'm a proud silly goose. What can I say? All right. So just so I remember again, that's the Control Shift backtick. Okay.
Yeah, and go back to your browser and reload it just to make sure that you closing the terminal didn't
Yeah.
stop it. I don't think that it
Nope.
did. No.
I mean,
Okay.
this one has been up for like
Yeah.
since the first time I opened it. So, oh, there's
And if
my
you reloaded that, it would probably show this now.
yeah,
But
yeah. I tried. I've reloaded it like 5 times. It didn't do anything.
well,
I don't know what
the
happened
thing
with it.
is, you're now running the process that makes it show something.
Oh, okay.
Because that process wasn't being run.
Yeah, it stopped working.
Yeah, it stopped working because
All right.
you're running like a server process, and if
Yeah.
it hits that server and the server isn't running, it's going to be
Mhm.
like, well, there's nothing here, so I'm not going to show you anything.
So what are we even doing here? Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Why did you ping me?
Why are you doing this?
Get out of here.
Yeah. Cool. So I'm gonna go back to this. And that's what I was explaining to you before is like how it has like the V React.
Mhm.
And it
Yeah.
has like that little blur thing that comes up when you on mouse over, which I kind of like.
Very nice. Yeah, fancy.
So yeah, when you look at all this,
Yeah.
my brain just goes, okay, where the heck do I even start with just anything?
Yeah.
You know, do I
Yeah.
just go ahead and delete a lot of this, or what?
Yeah. Yeah, basically. So what I would do is actually instead of using app.jsx
Hmm.
the way that it's being used now, which is like your whole app is in app.jsx,
Hmm.
I would actually make a new folder, a new file within a new folder with
Okay.
within your source folder. So SRC, that's like where everything that you make is going to go in the SRC folder, basically. Like 99% of what you're going to make
Okay.
is going to go there.
New.
I wouldn't call it that.
No.
So there's
So like I'm thinking about it.
no, the thing is, whenever you're, so there's a big thing in development where
Hmm.
like a lot of your time, a lot of your like, not a lot, but like, it's, it's a thing where you need to put thought into naming things. So
Okay.
you need to name variables, and you need to name files, and you need to name
Yeah.
folders, and you need to name them in a way where it's like, okay, am I going to remember exactly
That.
what this thing does or
Hmm.
what this is for?
Okay.
And not only am I going to remember it, but is somebody who has never looked at this code base before going to know exactly what this does without me having to explain it?
Okay. So you have to have it so it kind of has a lasting impression on like what? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, basically, you need to be semantic about it. And
Okay.
semantic just means like you need to name things in a way that it's like, oh, that's what that is, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
your folder here is going to be like screens,
Yeah.
and you're going to make a new screen. And well, let me see here. In, in order for it to be like a legit screen, you would introduce the concept of a router, which we're not worried about that yet. We can really just make one thing for now. And I would probably actually I would probably actually categorize what you're going to make as just a component. So you would
Okay.
put it in a components folder.
Folder. Okay.
Yeah.
Components.
Yeah.
And then
And
eh,
then within that, I would probably say make a new folder called reptiles.
okay.
Maybe.
New folder. Reptiles.
And then within that, make a, you could call it index.jsx, or you could call it like list.jsx. I, maybe just do list. That might be like a bit more semantically
Okay.
correct.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Alrighty. All right. Now, is this normal right here? What this guy's doing?
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's
That's
just
just if
it's
there's
just
nothing in the
showing
first folder, then it
if
just does that.
there is only one folder within that first folder, it'll just kind of show it side by side like that.
Okay. Cool.
If you put another folder within components called like users or something
Yeah.
like that, and then you could have like a list.jsx within users, and then it'd be
Yeah.
like your list of all your users instead of the list of all your reptiles.
Okay.
Then the folders would show up on top of each other.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That makes
but
sense.
yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, within, so basically what we're going to end up doing here is building out a component within this list.jsx file,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're just going to import that into app.jsx and
Yeah.
kind of replace everything in app.jsx with just that one component,
Yeah.
just because we can, and that's like all we're really worried about is just this one component for now.
Yeah.
If we wanted to later add like a tab component or something, and we could tab between like the reptile list and the user list or something, like we could do that.
Yeah.
at some point if we ever wanted
Yeah.
to. I don't think we would want to. I think we'd actually want
Yeah.
it to be like more of a navigation kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
But anyway,
Cool. So, where to even start?
yeah. Yeah. So I'm trying to
Are
just
we
make sure that
creating
we
like
have
a
kind of like
tables or?
described everything that we've talked about so far, but everything that we've like done so far. Hopefully,
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
listening to this can kind of like understand. So
Yeah.
basically, to recap, it gives you app.jsx out of the box. Vite
Yep.
does, and it gives you some like boilerplate markup for that,
Hmm.
and it's basically just like I don't want to say like a marketing page, but it's like Vite. It's
Yeah.
like a Vite default like welcome page,
Yeah.
and that is meant to basically be overwritten by whatever you're going to actually write in your application. So, but in an actual application, the app.js file is sort of like the like gathering point for all of the components and pages and everything that you're going to end up writing. So it's just sort of like the file that kind of like kicks everything off, and then everything that you write from then on, it lives in its own place. It's kind of all separated out and kind of like organized nicely in separate files. So that's what we're doing now. It's just we're just making the first of those files,
Yep.
and then all of that stuff gets imported into the app.js X file.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So up here where it says import and all that jazz, right? I
Yeah.
assume. Yeah. Yeah. And we're
Yeah.
just basically replacing all of this jargon.
Yeah. And actually, why don't you go ahead and copy all of this? Just
Hmm.
do a control all,
Yep. All.
control A,
Ah.
and then
Oh
it'll
man.
select everything.
Well, that's convenient.
I
All right.
You can do that in like any program. Did you know that? Control A.
No. No,
That
I didn't.
Yeah, that works in like Microsoft Word and like
Huh.
Google Docs and everywhere.
So I
Anyway,
can just do that Control A and then Control C to copy. Yeah.
yep, yep. And then
Eek.
I would like just for fun and just to like show that how to like export and import things,
Hmm.
just go to list.jsx and have this be list.jsx for now.
Okay.
Everything that you just copied.
Okay.
And then so highlight. Okay. So instead of import app CSS, just
Hmm.
just get rid of import app CSS.
Import app CSS. Okay.
And you can get rid of the logos. So get rid of React's logo and Vite logo.
Okay.
So yeah, we're basically just kind of like stripping things down to so that we don't need to worry about like basically the original app.jsx file we're now making into just the list.jsx file and then importing that into app.jsx. So it's still going
Yeah.
to look similar, but now that we've removed the CSS and we've removed those logos, it's gonna look a lot different, but a lot of the code is going to be the same. So do you see those two links? The anchor tags of where it's like vitejs.dev and then reactjs.org.
Yep.
So everything from line 11 down to line 16 you can delete,
Okay.
because actually even line 10 to line 17,
Okay.
the wrapping divs.
Get rid of the divs as well.
Yeah, because we just got rid of the logos. So if we left those in there, it would be like you're trying to display these logos, but they don't exist because you aren't importing them anymore. So
Yeah.
so now
Let's list.
now we are going to rename this. So it says function app,
Yep.
and then at the bottom of the file it says export default app.
Yep.
We're just going to rename it as we could either rename it reptile list or
Mhm.
just list,
Okay.
because it's in
Yeah.
the
Might as well.
reptiles folder.
Yeah, and might as well just use lists. That way, maybe in the future you can kind of reuse the code. Is that a thing? Is that a thing that people do? Where it's like,
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
use this form for a different function later on if
uh-huh.
it's not
Yeah,
specifically for this. I don't know if that's a thing that people do, but
Well, so I feel like right now we should maybe call it reptile list because
Okay.
we might have like a users list later. And
Yeah.
then at some point we could combine the two and make it reusable.
Yeah.
But and that's when we would rename it just list.
Should
Yeah.
this be in like camel case or anything?
So we're going to be using what's called Pascal case,
Okay.
which is the same thing as camel case, but with a capital first letter. So,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I've noticed that come up when you do React DOM or
mhm,
something
mhm,
like that.
mhm.
It makes you do React in a uppercase and DOM in all uppercase. And I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah,
Reptile this.
yeah. And then just
Sweet.
copy and paste that over app
Okay.
at the bottom.
Okay.
So we're declaring a function called reptile list, which is our component function. And then we're going to export that list, the reptile list,
Yeah.
from this
As
file.
yeah. Yeah. You've renamed what your whole thing has been called. Your function anyways.
Yeah. And this is
Alrighty.
kind of annoying me, the
What
fact that
is
they don't use semicolons by default.
oh yeah. Yeah.
Is
At the end of each line, you mean?
yeah, like you don't need them technically,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of people who don't use them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a
It's a pet peeve.
it's
It's irksome.
sort of. It's just like I feel like some people kind of like say like, okay, this is the way that
Yeah.
we're gonna do it, and like hopefully other people start doing it this way.
It
But like I feel like it's not really like they're trying to make fetch happen.
yeah, yeah, the way that you're explaining it is a little bit like to bring back in our older episode, I talked about Silicon Valley also, but when he's like tabs versus spaces,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he's like, I still don't understand what they mean by that, but yeah.
yeah. Well, they call that like bike shedding.
Okay.
I don't know why they call it that, but it's like a thing where it's like you can do it either way. It works either way, but like people sometimes have like very strong opinions on like X versus Y, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And I don't have like a super strong opinion. It's just like I've seen it happen a bit more recently in
Yeah.
like documentation of like I feel like maybe the Next.js documentation does it too.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe that's the way the world is kind of like moving
Yeah.
and I should just jump on board, but like I haven't seen I haven't seen it
Yeah.
like really like I haven't really seen the shift fully,
Yeah.
shift.
Yeah.
If that makes
So it's still under your skin a little bit.
yeah, it's still like, well,
Yeah.
are we doing it this way? Have we all
Yeah.
decided that we're doing it this way now?
Is everyone decided that yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess if the less things that you have to type in general is the better, right? I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like
But
I I would almost prefer to write it this way, but only if everybody like agreed to write it this way, you know?
yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, yeah.
So anyway.
So our H1 is Vite plus React, which we
Mhm,
saw that on
mhm,
our web page right here,
mhm.
which makes sense. That's the header because it's bigger than the a body would be or anything like that, right? Is that how that
Yep.
works kind of?
Yep.
Or
Yep.
what is what's P stand for again? Paragraph?
Paragraph. Yep.
Yep. Why it's bigger than the paragraph and stuff.
Mhm.
And yeah. So what now,
So
buddy?
now you have created a component and you are exporting that component from this file.
Yeah. So we need to
Now we're
import it
gonna
into App.js, JSX.
yes, we're gonna go back to app.jsx and
Mhm.
delete
Uh,
everything
the
after function apps.
function app. Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Get rid of the parentheses or whatever as well.
No, no, no. I'm
All right.
sorry. After that line is what I
From the
mean.
const down. Yeah. From line 7
Yeah.
down. Okay.
So yeah, and
Okay.
then just within the curly braces, basically. So it's opening the curly braces
Okay.
at the top of what you're
Yep.
doing, and you need to just delete everything up until the closing curly braces. Because if you
Bam.
delete the closing curly braces, then it won't close and the
Yeah.
code
Yeah.
won't work.
Yeah.
Cool. So
So
now now at the top, you can do import reptile list from,
Alrighty. Do we want to get rid of all of the SVG and all that stuff as well, or
yeah,
does that all stay?
yeah, you can get rid of,
Everything other than line 1?
no, you can get rid of line 1, which is the use state. So we're not using state in this component anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically all you have now is like function app, and then you're exporting function app, and that's all. That's where we're starting. So
Is this
yeah,
right?
that works. Yep.
So,
So you started typing import reptile list, and it auto completed for you. VS Code knows like, oh, I know where that is. Like you're,
I can't express how like lovely that is.
yeah.
I just love that. Like just little things like that I really enjoy.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you can do within your app function. So this is now like this is your main like starting point for your application. All you're going to do is do return and then open some parentheses.
Open some parentheses, not parentheses.
Do a space first.
Okay.
Yeah. And then open some parentheses and then hit enter. And I'm going to tell you to put, yeah, I'm going to tell you to put this within a div, just because
Okay.
if you don't, it might do something that's a little confusing, and it will work either way.
Yep.
It's just for my own sanity and for your sanity, potentially, I'm going to tell you to put it inside a div. So you have made a div, and it has the opening div tag and the closing div tag. Now hit enter so that you're kind of sandwiched between the opening and closing div tags.
Yeah.
And actually go back to the end of the opening one and hit enter again, just so that you are actually sandwiched within there.
Yeah. Actually,
and
between
then,
them.
Yeah. And now do open angle bracket.
Yep.
And then reptile list.
Yep.
And then just hit, I think, // Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
And then the closing angle bracket.
So that's a self closer, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that's a self-closing tag. And you see that a lot in React. You see that more in React than you do in just like HTML. Like in HTML, you see it as like semi often, because that's how you do like images and that kind of thing. But in React, when you have components, like you can also have components that open and close like divs, but it's much more frequent in React to have like the self-closing ones than it is in HTML. So anyway, all of that is just to say you've now taken what you used to have in App.js and kind of put it in list.js, JSX, sorry, and imported it back into App.jsx. So you have the same markup now in App.jsx. It's just imported instead of all written out in that file.
Yeah.
So, but with the exception of like the CSS and the logos and stuff, we kind of stripped a lot of that out of the list.jsx.
Yeah.
So you can save this now.
Okay.
And go back to the browser.
I mean, it doesn't autosave, or
it looks like you already saved it.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Go back to the browser now.
Back to the browser.
There you go. So this is your ugly version of what was there before.
Yeah. It still says silly geese though, and I like that.
Yeah. Cool. So before I go any further, do you have any questions about like what we just did?
I don't believe so. It's basically, we just made it so we brought ourselves down to just nothing almost. And we're making it so these two can handshake with each other, the list.jsx and the app.jsx. So they both understand what each other are, kind of a thing. Basically, my list.jsx is now inside of this div here. when it imports it in, it'll have whatever I've created in my list.jsx into that.
Mhm.
But I am curious, is the bonus of it being like this so we can kind of adjust these things separately? And so I might write a lot of my code on this page, my app.jsx page, but as far as the lists, the reptile lists go, it'll all be written on this page. And I'll continue doing that with multiple pages for like users and for other stuff. Is that right?
Yes, theoretically, but you generally wouldn't write a lot of markup within app.jsx.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it's just specifically app.jsx. Like that file is kind of
Just a
like I said,
catch-all
it's
for,
just like the starting point
yeah.
for your app, and that's where you just kind of like import a bunch of stuff,
Hmm.
but you're not really writing like markup there. It's basically just like importing
You're
stuff.
importing everything into
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah,
All
but
right. So it's,
theoretically, you could write a bunch of stuff there and then have your list, and then you could
yeah.
write a bunch of stuff below it. And
Mhm.
then, in order to update the part of that page that pertains to the list, you would do all of that in the list file, not the
Yeah. Yeah.
app.jsx file.
Yeah. That makes sense. So, I mean, if compiler wasn't already being used for something, this is kind of your code, like all being compiled into one thing. Like everything that you've written on other pages is now being brought in and organized on this. So it's now presented to the actual application in an
Hmm.
organized fashion instead of having just write a bunch of code on one page. They would get pretty messy pretty quick and stuff, I assume. Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Kind of
definitely.
right.
I mean, like if you write your entire application in one file, that would be just bonkers. Like you would
Well,
that would suck.
it's funny because that's totally something that you don't really realize at first. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like
yeah, yeah.
you understand. I mean, even up until I don't know, not long ago, like I thought that it was like, okay, I have my CSS, my JSX, and my JSON file or whatever, and I write everything in those. But now
Uh-huh.
it's like, no, like you have like multiple JSX files and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, no,
interesting.
you're gonna end up with dozens and dozens of JSX files.
Huh. That's cool. I mean, it's clever though, because it means that you don't have to like wade through an ocean of code just to find a problem or whatever. If you're having a problem with just, that's kind of what we talked about in the last one, where with the button thing, where it's like, you don't have to wade through a bunch of things that
Yeah,
are all calling for this one piece. It's all that one piece is handled in its own file.
yeah,
And you're
yeah.
just bringing that into other pages or whatever it is.
Uh-huh.
All right. Coolio Leo. So, yeah.
Cool.
So where do you think we should start? What do you,
Yeah. For one thing, just to make this kind of like up to standard and everything,
Mhm.
list.jsx should be capital L,
Okay.
like the
All right.
file name.
So
Uh,
the file name should always start with a capital no matter what? Is that
because
like a
it's a
thing?
component,
Okay.
and like utility files, so that would be just like functions that are useful uh, within other files. Those kind of things, like just kind of like helper functions,
Mhm.
those you wouldn't capitalize. But because you have to capitalize component names,
Uh-huh.
you capitalize the file names for those components as well.
Okay.
That's It's literally just like a convention.
Yeah.
It's not a hard and fast rule by
Yeah.
any means.
But it like if you were to look at it and I had it not capitalized and like we were working together, you'd be like, why isn't that capitalized? Like it would
Yeah, or
so
I would just go capitalize it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Seth, not you're not gonna confront it. You're just gonna be like, nah, that's yeah.
Or I would capitalize it and be like, by the way, I capitalized this thing. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Cool.
yeah,
So that is done then. So yeah, what do we want to start working on and stuff?
yeah,
Like what's
yeah. So now what I would like to do is make a list, and you wouldn't do this in an actual application usually. There are some use cases for this, like if you're working with like a list of like states in a like contact form or something, and you just want to show those in like a drop down, maybe you would
Yeah.
do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But what I'm about to tell you to do is something that you would normally do via a database. But since we're not working with a database or a backend at all, I'm going to tell you to create a folder within source called data.
Okay. New folder. Capitalized or not?
No, the
No.
folders don't get capitalized.
Okay.
It's the files.
Alrighty.
And this is an example of a file that I wouldn't have you capitalize because you're not writing a component.
Yeah.
You're just writing some data.
Okay.
And so within
New
that,
file.
make a file called ReptileList.js and not JSX because it's not a component. It's not markup.
Yep.
Just data.
Okay.
So ReptileList.js, and all we're going to do is export from this.
Yep.
We're just going to export. I'm just going to go ahead and do export default. Or
Okay.
actually, no, sorry, that might be kind of confusing. So export const reptiles equals.
Am I doing camel case or
No, just lowercase.
Not just lowercase. Yeah.
Yep,
I mean,
lowercase
I
is
know
fine.
reptiles wouldn't be that anyways. Equals.
Equals, and then we're gonna open up a array. So that would be the square brackets.
Okay.
Okay, cool. And then within your square brackets, I'm gonna have you create an object. So do enter so that we're kind of sandwiched between the
Yep.
square brackets, and then do the curly braces and then hit enter.
Yep.
And then so now you're sandwiched within the curly braces, and write name colon and then the name of one of your reptiles
Okay.
in the form of a string. So it would be within quotes.
Okay, in quotes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And Senku is actually one of our reptiles, but it's also the main character in Dr. Stone.
Dr. Stone.
It's
my favorite children's book author.
It's a great anime. It's fun. Anyways.
So
Senku.
in objects, for object properties, you do commas instead of semicolons.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I'm going to have you copy. So before I have you copy it, put a comma at the end of that object. So at the closing curly brace, because we're going to make another object within our array. So this is going to be an array of a bunch of objects.
Okay. So am I doing more curly braces then?
Yeah. So copy that whole object.
Okay.
So lines 2 through 4.
Yep.
So open curly brace and then name colon Senku and then closing curly brace comma.
All right. Yeah. Am I supposed to have a comma after Senku? No. Or yes?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
You can and because it's the last one in the list of object properties, you could leave it off. Like if you had 3 properties in here, like name, date of birth, color, like you would need commas after the first and second one, but not necessarily the third one.
Yeah, because it's not going into another thing.
Right.
It's not separating anything. Okay.
Right. It's like putting a comma in the middle of a sentence versus the end of a sentence, like you wouldn't put at the end of a sentence.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. Okay. So I have that copied. Now where am I putting that? Am I just putting it after this comma, or are we just copying the same thing over and over again?
Actually, I want to show you a trick here.
Okay.
So triple click line 2.
Okay.
So it'll select the entire line.
Okay.
And then hit shift down so that you are now selecting the entirety of lines 2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
And now you can do shift option down
I don't even know where option is. 1 second.
or alt.
Okay. All right. Shift,
Alt
Alt.
option. Yeah,
Yeah.
shift alt down.
Okay. Oh, huh.
Ta-da.
That's nifty.
Yeah, so if you're just listening to this, if you have something highlighted and you hit shift alt and then you hit down or up, it will copy it to the next line
Hmm.
or the previous line, depending on whether you hit up or down.
Yeah.
So
So what we just did is we copied line 2 through 4, which is a curly brace, name, senku, comma, end curly brace, and then a comma. And when we did that, it ended up adding a whole nother object, which is the same object you already wrote, but still,
yeah. So
still
now
cool.
we have two objects now that basically just all that's in the objects is just name colon senku. So
Mhm.
we're gonna do that a couple more times, like however many reptiles you want to list,
Yeah.
and then just update the names for
Okay. Oh yeah, that's it. That's a cool way to kind of just reuse the code.
yeah.
All right, cool. So then we're gonna. Oh, is there a way to make it not switch all of them at the same time?
It's not going to.
Oh,
It
okay, okay.
it
I just saw
highlights
that.
all of them
All
because
right.
it notices that they are the same word.
Yep. Huh.
And instead of clicking and then backspacing all of them, you
Hmm.
can just double click Senku and then start typing and it will overwrite.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Oh, that's nifty. See, you're teaching me a bunch of things. I'm excited about. This is fun. I mean, it's just little things that you never, you know, you don't realize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, double
Yeah.
click will do the word, triple click will do the whole line.
Do the whole line. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And it looks like you're just single clicked right now.
I am.
Yeah, so you just want to double
All right.
click.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go. How'd you know? Because the line was in the middle there
Yeah.
instead of at the end.
Yep.
Ah, Suki. Cool.
Cool. So save that and then you can
Control
go.
S.
Yep. Yep.
Yep. Awesome. Cool.
And then you can go back to list.
Yep.
And now we can within div,
Hmm.
we can get rid of everything within that
Okay.
first div. So
Okay.
like, and sorry, but the very first div, so the one that
Oh,
just
okay.
wraps everything.
From H1 all the way down, basically.
Yeah, unless
Okay.
unless you want to keep an H1 and just say, actually, let's do that
Okay.
instead of what I was telling you. Take the H1 and change that text to like
Oh, your audio cut out.
reptiles. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah. What'd you just say?
I just said change the H1,
Hmm.
everything like that text there, change
Yep.
it to like reptiles or reptile list or whatever you want to
Yep.
call it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good enough.
Cool. And then within the card, just delete everything within the card.
Okay. So like from button down, basically.
Yeah, from button down to yeah.
Next div.
Yep. Yep. And then you can get rid of that last paragraph as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So all we have left is the H1, which is just like the title of the page,
Yeah.
and then an opening div, which is nothing. It's just going to be blank space right now.
Yeah.
And it's not even going to be blank space. It's going to be 0 pixels by 0 pixels. So it's just going to be like an invisible box that has no width or height.
Yeah.
Cool. So now you can get rid of that use state stuff too.
Use state right here. Yeah.
Yeah, at the top, and then at the top of your component,
Okay. Over
count,
here.
count, and set count. Yeah, because
Okay.
we're not using that
Alrighty.
anymore. Cool. So now all you have is a wrapping div, and then an H1 that's going to be the title of the page, and then just a blank box.
Yeah.
With no height or width. So now I'm going to say let's just do it. Let's just do it right, like in line. I think that might be the easiest way to wrap your head around it.
Okay.
So at the very top, you're going to import that data that you just made.
Yeah.
So import, and then
What do we call it again?
I think it was reptiles.
Yeah, ReptileList.js.
Yeah, so you're going to do import space, and then you're going to open some curly braces.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then do reptiles, and then it's going to autocomplete for you now.
Alrighty. There you
Okay.
go.
And
Cool.
the reason that we're doing it within curly braces is because it's not a default export. So if you look at the bottom of your current file here at line 17, you have
Yeah.
export default reptile list.
Okay.
That allows you to import something like if we did that in reptiles.js, we would just do import reptiles as opposed to
Mhm.
import curly brace reptiles.
Okay.
But because we didn't do that, we could potentially have something called reptiles in our reptiles.js file. And then
Mhm.
we could have something called like reptiles schedule or something like
Yeah.
that. And we
Yeah.
could import both of them within those curly braces,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now we have access to the data that we just created.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
So within that cards div, so underneath the title, underneath the H1, we have just a blank open div, and within that, like sandwiched within that div, you're going to open some curly braces.
Okay. Do I get rid of class name card or anything, or keep all that?
You can if you want to. You don't need to. It's not
Smart.
going to do anything. It's just sort of like wasted characters at this point. So you
Alrighty.
totally could if you wanted to, but doesn't
So
matter.
should it look like how I just did it? Am I sandwiching?
Actually, not really. No.
Okay.
So you with this, you're going to open it up, and it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But if I were writing this, and if somebody else who and like VS Code may even like correct you for doing this.
For doing it.
Yeah, and it's not a big deal because it'll still compile the same way and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you're writing React code and you've been doing it for a while, you wouldn't do that.
Okay. So where would you put it?
So open the curly braces, but don't hit enter. Basically,
Okay. Oh, okay.
you're just going to be writing stuff.
Yeah,
like
on one
kind
line.
of yeah.
Yeah.
So
Alrighty.
now you're going to do reptiles.map. Cool. And then open the parentheses,
Mhm.
and then now you're going to write the word reptile,
Yeah.
and then do an arrow. So space equals, and then the angle
Yep.
brace to make it look like an arrow.
Mhm.
And so just to pause for a second, what we're doing now with this map function is we're looping through that data within our markup. And when we're doing that, semantically, it makes sense to make each item that we're looping through the name of like the list, but like the singular version of that. So we
Okay.
have a reptiles list of data, like an array called reptiles, which is an array is basically just a list of data. So we have our reptiles array, and each item in our reptiles array is an object, and we're going to call each of those objects reptile because that's
What it is.
semantically, that's what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
We
Alrighty.
could instead call it like item if we wanted to.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, if you don't like, if this is like a function that you're going to pass like different data into, you would just call it item
Yeah.
because it's an item of the array. But we know what we're looping through. So like for ourselves to kind of like grasp, exactly what we're working with here, it would make the most sense to call each of those items reptile instead of
Yeah.
item or instead of data or instead of
Yeah.
whatever.
And then we're going to be now telling the computer that reptile is reptiles mapped. Each individual is a reptile, basically. Right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's the same as like declaring a variable. Like
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
we basically just declared a variable called reptile, but
Mhm.
it knows that that variable is going to be equal to whichever reptile is like at like the point where we're looping through, basically,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yep.
Cool.
Alrighty.
So now
Um,
now that we're mapping this and looping through the reptiles, we can just do, I would say, just to keep it simple, open a paragraph, just do a p tag.
okay.
And that's a lowercase p.
Yeah, I know. I had my finger on the shift still.
Yeah, and it's that can be a little bit tricky because like the default HTML tags are going to be all lowercase or
Yep.
camel case.
Okay.
And the like React tags that you create yourself are going to be Pascal case. They're going to be
Okay.
uppercase.
All
So
right. Cool.
so now within the p tag, you can open another pair of brackets.
Okay. Just the square brackets or the
Sorry,
what one?
the curly ones, because
Curly
this is
ones. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and yep. So and then right within there,
Hmm.
that's good. Do reptile.name
Okay. Cool.
and then save that and go back to the page.
Cool. Du-du-du. This page.
Yeah. And let's see here.
Did I not save it properly?
It didn't update for some reason list. Because it should at least, update with like the currently keeping and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man, guy.
Can you open your console? So do the shift control and
Yeah.
then the backtick button
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
and just see if it like stopped. So go over to the right, you can see, go back to terminal. And
Yeah.
then you see there's PowerShell and then Node on top of that.
Yeah.
That's the process that is running, I think. And I think it seems like it's still running. So that's not the issue. So we're doing some live debugging here.
Yeah. Hey, here we are.
Here we are.
Learning.
So go back to app.jsx
Okay.
and just comment out reptile list. So you can just on the line that you're on, just do
This one?
control. Yep. Just do control and then / and that will
Yeah.
comment it out for you.
Okay.
Actually, within JSX, the commenting is different. So highlight the reptile list.
Okay.
Like that whole thing. Highlight
The
that.
div and everything, or just this bar?
Yeah, just from the beginning of the angle brace to the closing angle bracket.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then do the open curly braces, and that will wrap it in some curly braces.
Okay.
And then I think now you should be able to do control / and that will comment it out the correct way. No, it still didn't.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's still
so
not gray. Is it angle brace, angle bracket, and then semicolon? Is that what it is? Or colon? I've seen
no,
that written that way before to get rid of a thing. No.
I'm not sure what language that would be, but so within the curly braces, do
Mhm.
/*. Yeah. And then
Okay.
at the end of those curly braces, like right before the end, do //
Right before the end of the curly brace. Yeah, yeah.
within.
Yeah, yeah. //
Yeah. And that's just going to comment out whatever is
Yeah.
in the curly braces.
Okay.
So now you can go back to the page, and if anything shows up, then we know that something's totally bonkers. Because yeah, so it's empty.
Okay.
So we know it's working.
Yep.
So now just get rid of,
The
just
curly braces and
undo a
them.
bunch of, just do Control Z
Oh,
and then we'll
Control Z.
just do undo until we're back to like how it was. Yeah, and
Nifty.
then save that and go back.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
We're back to
That's my suspicion. Okay,
V3
so list. Oh, here we go. Okay, so VS Code usually is like good about renaming the the files that you're importing. Like
Yeah.
when you're importing them, it, it it's usually good about like renaming the paths. So
Okay.
like you can see data slash
Oh,
tiles.
I know what this is. Earlier, when I changed something, it
Mhm.
said update for all, and I didn't do it.
There you go. Okay,
And that's what it
cool.
was. And I was like, why would it ask me that? And then I was like, watch, that's gonna be a problem later on. I knew it. I knew it. Anyone
So
who's watching this, you can see the bewilderment in my face when I clicked no on it. I was like,
I'll have to
that's
go back and watch
hilarious.
that.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
So go back to app.jsx
Yeah, yeah.
and change component slash reptiles slash lowercase list to
Yeah.
component slash reptiles slash uppercase list because we
Yeah.
renamed
Yeah.
it. Okay, so what does that say? Already included file name.
Users Pacheco desktop keeper.
There's probably like a lot more to that line, but
Yeah. I'm just gonna go with it and see what it's.
here we go. List only encasing the file.
Here, you know what I might be able to do? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Rename list. See if that. Nope, doesn't do anything.
Maybe if you do lowercase and then uppercase.
Yeah, yeah. Like change it twice kind of a thing. Yeah.
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 Maybe.
Yeah. Update imports for this. Yeah. So I'm gonna go yes, and then I'm gonna
Yeah,
go
and
yes
then
again.
do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
What?
I'm sure riveting to listen to.
Oh yeah, I'm sure this is really entertaining, especially with the that I'm hearing anyways.
Yeah, I'm not
Yes.
hearing that. So
Okay, well that's good.
okay, so why does it say already included file name?
Let's see if that did anything though. Hey,
Yeah.
it worked.
So
So it's giving you a weird code thing right here, but
yeah,
it
VS
worked.
Code isn't liking that for some reason.
Yeah, file name and program because imported data. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Any ideas?
I would need to look at it for like
Yeah,
too long for it to
let's
be
not care
interesting.
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not care about that for now. Yeah.
Cool. Well, it's working.
It's working. It's working. Stop asking questions, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So
Cool. All right, so go back to the page again, just to bask in the glory of what you just did.
ta-da!
Yeah,
It's
so
so
now you've got
simple.
all all of those.
Simply beautiful.
Yes. So let's see here. Now we have basically for the people listening, you probably have put it all together like visually in your mind, but we have a page that has a title on it, and then we've got a list of the names of the reptiles under that. So it's just a bunch of paragraphs stacked on top of each other that just have the reptile names within them.
Yep. And I am going to share screen because I keep forgetting to. I know you guys just like looking at us.
Cool. There it is.
Yep.
So now, basically, I think so there's kind of like two things that I would like to do before we kind of like wrap it up. One is just to make it look a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And another is to add more properties to the object and display them on the page.
Yeah.
So one involves CSS, that would be the second one, and the other involves just kind of like a little bit more
Coding in our list JSX.
Yeah, a little bit more JS and a little bit more JSX.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
So let's quickly do a little bit of CSS just to make it
Mhm.
look a little bit better.
Yep.
So, and actually, don't worry about this file. We're just
Okay.
going to do CSS and JS.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
and
Do you wanna do it on the list JSX or app JSX?
so
Probably
you're going to do it in
list.
list.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. I knew that. I was just being stupid.
Okay. So, and we're going to do it on the things that you're looping.
Okay.
Actually, let me backpedal a second. So within App.jsx,
Mhm.
the opening div there, I
Yep.
don't know if that's going to take up the full like height and width of the
Okay.
page, but so just to find out, basically, right there, click right there. So in the opening div tag, but before like the closing angle bracket of that opening div tag. So right
Directly
after
after div. Yeah.
directly after div, like directly after the V
Mm.
of the word div.
Yep.
So click right after that and then hit space and then write the word style equals and then no spaces there. So
Okay.
style equals.
Style equals.
Yeah. And then do 2 angle brackets.
Okay. Opening or closing or
Opening, it should close it for you automatically. VS Code
okay.
usually does. Or, sorry, did I say angle? I meant curly
Yeah. Yeah.
braces. Sorry about
Alrighty.
that. So
Alrighty.
get rid of those ones there too. That's my bad.
Curly braces. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
And then do another one.
And another one?
Yeah.
Oh
So
man. A thing and a
what?
thing.
Yeah. So what we're doing here is the style prop of like any JSX tag accepts an object
Okay.
as its value.
Mhm.
So within the curly braces, you could have like a number or you could have a string.
You can have a color too, right? Or can you? No.
Well, colors would usually be in the form of a string.
Okay.
So, but what I'm saying here is like to pass props into a component,
Mhm.
you usually have one set of curly braces. And then within that one set of curly braces, you can pass a string or you could pass an array or you could
Yeah.
pass
Yeah.
a number. Right
Okay.
now, we are passing an object and
Okay. And
objects
that's
are within
within
angle
curly
or
braces.
curly
Okay.
braces. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, I get
So
what you're saying.
we're passing an object and we're going to have CSS properties within that object,
Okay.
but written in kind of like the JS syntax.
Alrighty.
So what we're going to do is do color colon and then space and then a string and sorry, my bad.
Mhm.
Color would change the color of the text by
Okay.
default. That's what color does in
Okay.
CSS. What we're
So
gonna do is background color.
okay. So background color.
Yeah, it written in camel case.
Okay.
Yeah,
Background color space or
so
equal
colon
space. Oh, colon. Yeah.
colon space because the equivalent of an equal symbol within an object is a colon.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. Okay.
So we're assigning the value of so do a quotes
Mhm.
and you can write color names in here. So you could do
Mhm.
like teal or red or gray. Like if it were me, I would probably do like light gray because we want it to
Alrighty.
be like really subtle, basically. And that would be one word.
Okay. I
I think it is all lowercase.
okay. Yeah. I would think it was,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
And
Alrighty.
so save that and we'll see how big this div is. I want it to be okay, it's not big enough.
Yeah. It's not very big.
All right. So
Make bigger. I
we're
don't know.
also going to do width colon.
Am I doing this right after all of
You
what
could
I
do
just
it
wrote?
before or you could do it after. Either
Okay.
way.
Yep.
And you're going to separate these properties with
With a comma.
commas. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. With colon. How wide?
So you could write a number value in here, but
Mhm.
we want it to be like more dynamic than that. So we're going to do within quotes, we're going to do 100, like
Okay.
the number 100 and then percent. So we're
Okay.
just going to say with 100% and
100%.
then do the same with height.
Okay.
So, and then
So, yeah.
comma, height,
Yeah.
100%. And real quick, I'm going to pause because Liam is dying.
Yeah. Do your thing, buddy.
Cool.
100%. Yeah.
Cool. So did that solve it? Okay, like
No.
go. It didn't. Okay.
No, I checked it while you
Okay.
were away.
So this goes deeper. So this isn't the best way to do it, but
Mhm.
instead of 100% for the width,
Mhm.
do 100 VW.
100 VW. Is
Yeah.
that view width?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then VH for height. So this is sort of like brute force overriding.
Yeah. It worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although there's still oh, it's because of the H1
Yeah.
has a margin at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter though. I mean, like for our purposes, it's fine
It's fine.
for
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Cool. So go back to list
Yeah.
JSX and then so around the so within the map of the
Okay.
reptiles,
Yep.
instead of having paragraphs for just the reptile names,
Yeah.
we're gonna start having more properties being shown. So
Okay.
we're going to wrap each of our reptiles in a div now.
Okay.
And the way that you would do that is highlight from the beginning of the opening paragraph tag to the end of the closing paragraph tag where we have our reptile names and
Okay.
then wrap that in parentheses.
Okay. Like just, yeah, those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we're going to be doing like multiple like HTML tags now, you have
Yep.
to wrap it in parentheses. If you just have one, then you don't need the parentheses. But
Okay.
we're going like multi-line here, and that's when you start needing parentheses.
Yeah. We're
Not-
going into the danger zone. Yeah.
Oh, after the opening parenthesis, hit
Yep.
enter.
Okay.
No, the opening parenthesis, not the opening paragraph tag.
Oh, derp. Sorry.
No worries.
Yeah. Opening parenthesis right here. Yeah.
Yep, right before the opening paragraph tag, and then go back to the opening parenthesis and hit enter again, just because we're going to be on like a new line.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're going to open up a div here.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and then after the closing paragraph tag, we're going to do a closing div tag. So after
Okay.
the closing paragraph tag, hit enter.
Okay. So wait, after the closing paragraph tag,
Yeah,
we're putting a div there.
a closing div.
Yeah.
tag.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I would do it on its own line if I were
Okay.
you. So you can still type it, but and then
Yeah.
just hit enter after. But
But
oh, interesting. It converted it. Okay, gotcha.
so like that.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
And now hit enter again, just so that
Yeah.
the parentheses are on their own line.
Yep.
So now we've got this little HTML block here, and just for my own sanity, can you indent the paragraph tag? Just so that
Yeah.
we know
This
that
one.
it's nested within the div.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. That makes sense.
There is a like a plugin for VS Code that I will like tell you about after this and everything that will do all of that for you, which is nice.
Okay. Cool.
So
Sweet.
now we have sort of like an opening div, so like an opening box that like wraps around the reptile name that's
Yeah.
right now in a paragraph tag. So
Yeah.
that box, we're going to put a few little styles on it. So
Okay.
after the v of div, we're going to do space style equals, and then do no spaces for
I'm always gonna mess that up, but
yeah, no worries.
yeah, equals, and then a space after the equals, though. Yes. No.
No.
Oh man. Okay. Quotes. It is.
Nope.
No. Nothing. All right. Style
This
equals
is where
what?
we do the curly braces,
Okay. Alrighty.
and then more curly braces,
Yeah.
just like before.
Oh yeah.
You remember? So we're
Yeah.
passing
Yeah.
an object here.
An object to it. Yeah.
Yep. So now you're gonna do background color white.
Color colon white
Yep.
or
Yep.
no? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got it. And then white is gonna be in quotes. There you go.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Could I have just clicked that and it would have made it in
Yeah.
quotes?
Yeah.
Oh well,
But
here we are. Now we know.
either way. And then comma, and we're gonna give it some padding and some margin. So we're gonna do
Alrighty.
padding colon, I would say 30 pixel, or just do 30 because
30.
it knows that it's pixels if you
Okay.
give
Cool.
it a number.
Yep.
And then margin, I'd say 15.
Margin 15.
So that's going to so now we're going to have a white box
Mm-hmm.
that has our paragraph inside of it.
Okay.
And we have 30 pixels of padding within that white box. So between the outside of the box, or sorry, between like the edge of the box and the paragraph tag, there's now going to be 30 pixels before the box touches the paragraph.
Okay.
Like it's gonna, like, if you didn't have that, it would just touch the paragraph tag.
Yeah.
But
So
now that
let's
you
look
have
at it.
that,
Yeah. So let's look at this.
and
So
that's too much. We need to change
that's too
that.
much.
Yeah.
Okay. But right
I
now
was
it
totally
might be
wrong
a,
on that.
yeah, but it might be a good way to explain what we're talking about. So
Yeah.
what one is my margin here?
Margin. So margin is going to be on the outside of the box.
Okay.
So
Up here.
yeah. So there's 15 pixels from where the bottom of the first box separates from the top of the second box.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's 15 pixels worth of space there.
Okay.
And the thing about margins is that they collapse on each other. So
Okay.
instead of it being 15 pixels below the first box, butting up against 15 pixels above the second box to add up to 30 pixels,
Yeah.
it's going to say like, okay, there's 15 pixels here, 15 pixels here, but like we're just gonna collapse them
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense.
that it does, but it's kind of annoying. Like I kind of wish that it worked more like padding.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
And then the padding here is that all this white space here,
yeah, so
round Kenku and stuff.
yeah, I would probably change that to 15 if it were me. Like that,
Okay.
that looks pretty bad, and that's my fault because I said 30. So yeah, cool. That's a bit better.
Yeah.
And then make your browser a little bit wider, because you
Okay.
see at the bottom there's a horizontal scroll bar. Oh,
Yeah. Do we want to get rid of that?
oh, hold up a second.
Yeah. It's doing
So
the whole thing.
what we actually want is to go back to the code.
Yep.
And we actually just want vertical margin. We don't really want that horizontal margin.
Okay. Alrighty.
So we're gonna do
let's just go vertical before that.
no.
Yep.
So within the margin, do put quotes around that.
Around margin?
Sorry, around 15.
Okay. All
My
righty.
bad. So
So I can just double click that and then press quote, right? Yeah.
yep,
Hey, learning.
nice. Yeah. And
All
then
righty.
do PX. So
Yeah.
sorry,
Oh,
do
15 px.
15
Yeah. Yeah.
PX, so
Yeah.
15 pixels.
Yeah. I
And
was still
then
double click.
after the X of PX, do space and then 0. So the way that margin and padding work, and this is not like super important to what we're doing, but just
hmm
so that you know, if you have 4 different values, it will be the top and then right and then bottom and then left. It goes like clockwise.
Okay.
So if you had 4 values, it would be like top one's 15, right one is 0, and then if you
Yeah.
did 15, 0 again, it would be bottom one is 15, the
Left one is 0.
left one
Yeah.
is 0.
Okay. That makes sense.
But if you just have 2, then it knows top and bottom are going to be 15,
Yeah.
and then left and right are going to be 0.
So should I do you do just 0 or can you do 0 px or does it matter?
I think you can just leave it as 0,
Okay.
but it looked like the scroll bar was still there.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why I was asking. I was like,
Yeah, that's interesting.
try pressing px and see what happens.
You can try it. I don't think it's going to fix it, but go for it.
Look at that scroll bar
doing it.
still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like messing up because of the padding, but that doesn't really make sense. But just for fun,
For funsies.
yeah, do like the same thing with the padding, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah.
Because padding and margin work the same way with like the top, left, right, bottom thing. So you
Yeah.
can just copy that string.
Oh, this over here.
It doesn't matter.
Sorry. I pointed at it.
totally-
I pointed at it with my finger. That's kind of funny. Yeah. I did the thing again. It's been a long day, everyone. I cut 15 people today and now I'm coding and trying to learn and trying to figure out how I'm gonna dig cement pillars 5 feet in the ground. It's fine. Everything's okay.
Is that because like you cut all these people and now they're dead and you need to hide them under these cement pillars?
No, they're cement pillars, Seth. What are you talking about? I need to just dig really deep holes about 5 to 6 feet in the ground just to put those cement pillars. Not
Why are you
not
cutting people?
No, it's not. Don't. Just you're the code guy. Just teach me code. No. Alrighty.
No, that didn't fix it either.
Nope.
Weird.
We got a nice little scroll bar on the bottom. That's nice.
That's strange. Huh.
That is.
So just for fun, like highlight all of the padding and all of the margin stuff. So like
Okay.
after white, just highlight
Yeah.
all of that stuff, and
Yep.
do Control X just to get rid of it, but to keep it on your like clipboard, so that you
Oh yeah, to cut
can
it.
later.
Yeah. Yep. Alrighty.
Okay. So it's still there. So
Yeah,
that's
it's still there. Yeah. So it's something
Um,
different. I mean, if I have this full screen, it's still there.
yeah, it's yeah,
It doesn't
which
matter what
makes
size it
sense.
is.
I think it's because of the 100 view widths thing,
Yeah.
but that still doesn't completely make sense. But regardless, so do put everything back the
Yeah.
way that it was,
Not Control P. Control V. Right.
or you
That's
can do
okay.
Control Z. Either way.
Oh yeah. To
Control Z would
reverse it.
just like
Yeah. Yep.
and then to get rid of the 2 values for padding. Just have padding be 15.
Okay. Patty. Okay. So get rid of the 0 px.
Yeah. And you can leave it as 15px in the quotes if you want.
Yeah,
Or you
it's
could
not-
just have it the number 15.
Yeah. It's not hurting nothing.
Yeah. So what we can do here is on the wrapping div, the app,
Mhm.
with the class name app, open up
Okay.
a style at like the very first div in your whole component.
Yeah. Right here. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
No, even higher than that.
Oh. Okay. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do style.
Yep.
Just like the other ones. And then equals.
No. Equals. Ah. I'm always going to do this. All right. Quotes, or am I doing curly braces?
Curly braces. Yep, there you go. And then do width colon 640. And 640 is arbitrary, but it's sort of like a common width for things
Okay.
in web browsers.
All right.
And then do comma, margin, and then in quotes, do auto. Sorry, do colon, and then in quotes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, margin, colon, and then in quotes, auto. And this is just going to say, basically all this does is that it centers something. So
Okay.
if something is, yeah, there you go. Still doing that, but whatever.
It's so weird.
Just
But
leave it
but
for
it's
now.
nice and centered though, and I like that. It
Yeah.
feels better now.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
So we'll leave that.
Yep.
But like, don't worry about the horizontal scrolling for now. We can fix that later off camera and everything.
Yeah.
So the last thing that I want to do with the styling, not a big deal, but give the white boxes there, just curve the edges a little bit. That'll just make it a little bit nicer.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is before background color or after margin, either way.
Yep.
We're going to give it a border radius.
Yep.
Of 15.
15.
Sure. It's all arbitrary.
Yeah. It's all, none of it makes sense. No.
Yeah. 15
Alrighty.
will be like noticeable, but not overkill, I would say.
Alrighty.
I mean, 8 would also be.
Yeah, but that looks
Actually,
nice.
That's a little much.
Oh, you don't like it? Okay.
Yeah, I would do like 8.
Let's do like 8.5. Not sure. 8. You got it.
Yeah, try that now.
There's 8. Lovely.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Aggressive, not too aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Fancy. Sweet.
So now the last thing I want to do is just add a little bit more data here. So
Okay.
go back to ReptileList.js.
JS. Yep.
And then under name, what should we give them? Like an age or their color or like what?
I mean,
Some
I
kind
think
of relevant information.
species,
Sure. Yeah, there you go.
you know,
Uh-huh.
species. And then do it the same way that we usually do it.
Yep.
Okay. Mackie monitor.
And then you can triple click that.
Yep.
And
Control what again?
so you could do Shift Alt down.
Yeah.
And then once you have done that, that's going to copy it to the next line.
Yeah.
And then once you've done that, just hold Alt down and that's going to just move it.
Ah. Well, geez, man. You're teaching me a bunch of stuff. What? Okay.
So do it down underneath the next name.
Yeah. So it's down there.
And then you can do that again. I would probably do it until they're all kind of populated and then go back and change the actual values. Yeah. So if you didn't catch that, what Jake is doing is he's just like using hotkeys basically to copy a whole line onto the next line and then move what he just copied down to its appropriate place. So he's taking all of the reptile objects and adding species to all of them kind of like more quickly that way.
He's trying anyways.
Yeah. And yeah, so we're back in like our reptiles list of just data, not like the visual list. This is just like the data list. And so now we have the names of all the reptiles and then their species. And we're going to take this data and it's already being fed into our list, but we're going to make use of the new data that we just added to this. And like I said, when you're working in like a legit app, you would normally get this data from a database. You wouldn't be like hard coding it into a file, because what happens when you get a new reptile? What happens when you lose a reptile, sell a reptile, whatever? Like you can, if you're working with a database, you can easily add one or remove one or edit one. Like, we we changed this one's name, you know, like we're going to update the name. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you
I
adding
mean,
something else or?
I was thinking of it, but we can just continue because we probably want to wrap up relatively soon anyways.
Yeah, let's just do species for now and then we can
Sweet.
come back
Yeah.
later. Cool. So back to our list
Yep.
component.
And we're going to have to
Uh,
add species into it instead of just name, right?
yeah. So
Yeah.
you can put that
Like,
above the name or under the name, wherever you want.
okay. All right. So in another P or what do you, or what? What do
Yeah,
you mean?
I would probably do, so what I would do here is just do shift control down again, just so
Okay.
that you have you're copying the line that has a paragraph, and within that paragraph it has the reptile.name.
Okay.
So if you copy that whole thing,
Okay.
so do the
Shift Alt down.
shift. Yeah, sorry, did I say control?
No worries,
I
bud.
mess that up every
It's
day.
all good. It's
Yeah.
all good. And then change it to species.
Yeah. And by the way, shift alt down. No, that's the same on Mac and PC. I was gonna say
Yeah.
that that's different, but it's not. That's the same on Mac and PC.
Yeah.
So now save that and go back to the browser
Yeah.
and the so
Hey.
the name and the species are the same size font and everything.
Yeah.
If I were you, I would probably go back in and then change the name to be in like an H5 or something like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
just so that it's like,
So it
it
tells
should
you it's
be
its
like a
name.
little bit bolder
Okay.
and a little bit bigger, probably.
Alrighty. So right here, would you do this? Or would you do
Yeah.
it in, yeah,
So
okay.
in the paragraph tag that's wrapping the reptile
Yeah.
name, we're changing that from a paragraph to an H5, and
Okay.
then leaving the species as a paragraph.
As a paragraph, so it stays
Because
smaller.
visually, we're saying the name is like a bit more important than the
Yeah.
species.
Yeah. Well, that just looks so nice.
Yeah,
And because like what I'd also probably want to do is H5 and then change the style and make it so the font is a little bit bigger or something. Yeah. You do that?
you could if you wanted to,
Yeah.
or you could also change the H5 to like an H3, and
Okay.
that would automatically make it bigger. So H1 is going to be the biggest, and
Yeah.
all the way
Oh,
down to
yeah.
H6.
Yeah. I like
H6
that
is
quite a bit more.
usually like the same as a paragraph tag, I think.
Okay.
Ish. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really, you can style it however you can style
Yeah.
each of those tags to be as big or as small as you want. Like you can
Yeah.
have your H6 be way bigger than your H1,
Yeah.
but in HTML by default, if you don't have any styling on it, the H1 is going to be really big and the
Yeah.
H6 is going to be a lot smaller.
And it's a bit more concise, I assume, to just do a different H style versus changing like the font size. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just basically I'm telling you to do an H3 as opposed to an H5 because you wanted it to be a bit bigger, and I
Yeah.
just knew that like changing
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
an H5
Yeah.
to an H3 it would probably
Makes it
make
bigger.
bigger. So.
Cool.
And
Cool.
one thing that's bothering me about this is
Yeah.
that
What's up?
I think I want
No, tell me what you want.
I would change the padding to be like 5 or 10 pixels vertically and still 15 horizontally.
Okay.
So on margin, you're doing 15 and 0. On padding, you would do like 5 and 15.
Okay. So 5. Oh, it's all in one quotes. 5 and 15 px.
Yeah, so 5. So within a string, so you're doing padding, colon, and then string 5px space 15px. And that's going to give you vertical of 5, horizontal of 15. Yeah, it looks a bit better.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so funny how like, I don't know. It's just like these little things that you're like, that looks so much better. And I'm like, yeah, I guess. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, but I get it. It's like you've been in it for a while. You know what things look good and what things don't.
Yeah.
So my padding is where my actual where or no, is it my margin or my padding where like senku is in reference to the outside of the box?
That's the padding.
That's the padding. Okay, I
That's the
thought so.
padding. Yeah.
Cool, cool.
Yeah.
So that's
And
just like, yeah.
also, like, at play here
Mhm.
are the each of the H tags by default come with margin around them.
Okay. Yeah.
I like if it were me, I would probably reset all of that stuff.
Hmm.
So I would use like a CSS reset file somewhere that I just like grab online or whatever that just
Yeah.
sets everything down to like nothing has padding, nothing has margin, nothing has
Hmm.
font
That
size.
way you can just
You have
customize
to
everything.
specify everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you
Um,
prefer doing it like that? Like that is
I
that
do just because like I want to know what I'm getting into and like I want to dictate what I'm getting into if
Hmm.
that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes
Um
sense.
so but this is good for
Yeah.
now.
Sweet.
It's fine. Yeah. And the gray is a little boring. That's my bad.
It's all good.
But you could totally go back to your app.js X and change it to teal like you had it originally.
Oh, it's going teal. There we go. Teal. Let's see. I mean, I'm sure it'll recognize teal, right? That's the thing.
Yeah, yeah. For sure.
Bam. See, that's lovely.
Noise.
And then I'd change currently keeping to like an orange. I don't know, something. I don't
Or
know.
whatever.
Or whatever. Or the dark blue looking thing. It works too.
Yeah,
Anyways.
if I were you, I would go to like if I were you and if I were me, I wouldn't actually be like designing a legit thing by myself. I would have
Yeah.
like a designer's like input on all of this.
Yeah.
But
But you know.
anyway,
Yeah.
this is good.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Alrighty. Well,
Hopefully that was informative
yeah.
to listener. Like hopefully that was like people are able to like follow that
Yeah.
auditorily.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully that was useful to somebody. Hopefully that was useful to you. Like, do you feel like you
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
understood
Yeah. I
that
understood
stuff?
everything that was going on. Like
Cool.
I can confidently say I understand everything that's going on. I might not remember everything 100%, but if I look back at everything that I just did, I know exactly what it all did.
Nice.
So that's a
That's good.
positive.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, and hopefully it helped everyone listening and watching with us, you know. Yeah, hopefully that helps everyone there too.
Yeah. Let us know, you know, if you like this like format. I think you know I'm definitely open to doing more stuff like this.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty fun. You know, it's
Yeah,
fun.
I
It's
mean,
fun to do. I don't know if it's fun to watch or to listen to, but it's fun to
yeah.
do.
But I mean, I think that the pace that we did it at, and you know, people can tell us also if you have any opinion on this, like, but if the pacing was good for you to follow along and kind of just do everything that you know we might have been doing kind of along with us while you're making your own thing go on, yeah, I think that it might work pretty well that way
Yeah.
because I'm not super fast, so I was like kind of just following along with what you were directing,
Mhm.
and I will say this is the funnest experience of learning well, like actually coding that I've had so far. So like this was pretty sweet. I liked it a lot.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool.
Neat.
All
But
right.
yeah, thanks everyone for listening.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
watching
Yeah. And watching. Hey. Bing
for the
bong.
first time ever.
Yeah. For the first time ever.
Maybe. I mean, we might totally release like full disclosure, we haven't released anything yet. So like if
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
watching this in the future, like and we've already released like a ton of videos, then we just totally
There you
lied to you.
go. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But yeah. Well, everyone have a good week and we'll be talking next week. So,
Cool.
yep. Just keep swimming, right?
All right. Just keep swimming.
Keep swimming. Have a good one, guys.
See ya.